So being that we in the times that we in, what I want to say is you need to understand the psychology that has led you to your oppression in order to liberate yourself and really gain the freedom that you want. The psychology of your oppression is stemming from scarcity mindsets. It's stemming from a lack of confidence. It's stemming from a lack of the inaction of your own willpower over your life. It's stemming from ill-fated belief. It's stemming from malevolent thought processes that's sabotaging your ability to be whatever it is that you really have the potential to be. You're limited to an extent by your human experience that's getting in the way of you manifesting your own godhood, bro. So, with that being said, one of the things that I would sit here and say, at least in this time that we in right now, judgment is one of those things that you have to look at as a tool rather than being a law of the universe. It's a tool that the universe has provided to restore balance. The universe provided judgment the same way the universe provided approval, encouragement. Other antonyms of judgment would be acceptance, forgiveness. It's a tool, and it's for you to utilize however it is you choose to utilize. So part of what I'm saying to help break the psychology of what's getting in the way of you manifesting higher realities, manifesting a deeper transformation from an internal space, manifesting that real life, that healing that you seek to experience outwardly, you got to journey inwardly and figure out what are the blockades, what are the psychological traps that I'm still falling into that's getting in the way of this experience that I know I'm destined to have. To be honest with you, bro, it's your birthright. It is your spiritual birthright to seek sovereignty over your own soul. It is your spiritual birthright to identify that your soul is not limited to this experience. You are only in this world, not of this world. And it's your spiritual birthright to empower yourself with that true knowledge of self. That's your spiritual birthright, bro. You got every right to sit here and call yourself whatever you want to be, especially when we living in a time where people are identifying as whatever it is they want to identify as, even though they may be experiencing something that may quite literally be the opposite of what they feel that they are, or may be in diametric opposition of what they know themselves to have the potential to become. People are sitting here saying, I feel like I'm a woman even though I was born anatomically a man. I feel like I'm, a person of color even though I was born in this physical form that doesn't reflect that outright. I feel like I'm this and I feel like I'm that. We live in a time where people can sit here and say they feel like they're anything. So why not sit here and say, I feel like I'm God? And not from no egotistical standpoint, not from no, I'm God so I can do whatever the fuck I want to do with my power. Because in truth, if you really are God, you'd understand there's certain things that you want with your own human thoughts that are not in alignment with your cosmic consciousness. As a God, some of this shit you shouldn't even want. Look at Nature Boy, for example, from Carbonation. To be honest with you, that was a motherfucker that was still very much stuck in his ego. And that serves as a learning lesson for people who rise to new heights of consciousness, because we are not so special that such a fate couldn't happen to us. The same thing that happened to him very likely can happen to any one of us if we don't put in the proper steps to protect ourselves from what he suffered from. He suffered from his ego becoming inflated with this false idea that he landed on. He thought that coming into a higher level of consciousness, coming into a God frequency of sorts, because some of the knowledge that he gave was very much beneficial, but a lot of it was quite literally perverted by his own humanity, and a lot of that stemmed from trying to manifest God as some supreme act of sexuality, trying to manifest God as some sort of degenerate sexual experience of, wanting to have multiple women at his dismay, and wanting to just be free and as chaotic as he can be. Yeah, in truth, we are chaos beings. That's truth. There's truth to that, because we are the star children that have the potential to manifest anything. But with that being said, you should also understand that there needs to be certain systems and structural game plans in place, certain strategies that need to be in place to combat your own humanity, so that way you don't sabotage your true godhood potential. A part of that is understanding, like, you're gonna have inherent struggles. You're gonna have struggles. We all have struggles. You know what I'm saying? We all have struggles. We all suffered from something. The world traumatized all of us to an extent. And we living in a world that has the potential to continue to traumatize us, especially the less that we know about ourselves and how to protect ourselves from the trauma of the world, from the pain of the world. And part of that is identifying what our desires are. Our very human, primal, primitive, limited desires. Our desires are limited to our understanding of how we are able to experience life. But that limitation is only in thought. It's an illusion within itself. Truly, you are limitless, because that thing within you has no boundaries to put itself in. You're limited as to what you can do and what you should want to do within yourself, based off of your own moral compass, based off of the attachments of your heart, based off of the attachments of your ego. And you need to be willing to break that shit down, bro. You need to be willing to break that shit down, so that way you can get to the other side of this experience and have a more fulfilling outcome within yourself as well as around you. You know what I'm saying? As within, so without. As above, so below. As it is in heaven, may it be on earth. But you got to be willing to dive deep within yourself and say, yo, bro, use judgment as the tool that it's meant to be, but then also lean into some of the antonyms of judgment, such as acceptance, forgiveness, and encouragement. Be willing to judge your humanity for what it is. Your humanity is nothing more than just an animal. And I don't even mean to say that in a way that sounds like, you know what I'm saying, super fucked up or whatever, but like, your humanity is limited to what it is limited to. You're just an animal, bro. You know what I'm saying? You ain't much more than that. So, come over here real quick and make me a cup of coffee. So with that being said, your humanity, is just that. It's a animalistic expression of God. It's an animalistic expression of God. You've manifested yourself in the form of being a human to experience yourself from this perspective of, I have a certain level of autonomy, freedom, liberty, and ability with the given willpower that I have to sit here and say that there's a certain thing that is inherently of my nature, and there's also a certain thing that is beyond my nature, because that which is within me transcends nature as a whole. That which is within me is not limited to nature, because nature is a force within this natural world that acts upon things. Like a tiger in the wild does what it needs to do in order to sustain itself. It has to kill in order for it to eat. And it feels no way about it because there's no moral compass that's limiting its understanding of itself in that way. So it don't make it wrong. It just makes it of its nature. It has to do that. But when you understand, like, there's certain things that this animalistic version of me, this very primal and limited version of my godhood expression, this very limited version of my godly thought, it's plagued by a nature that is inorganic to what it is. Humanity is inorganic to cosmic consciousness. If cosmic consciousness is the title that that we'll use to assign to this thing that we call God, because to be honest with you, what you are is so much more beyond that too. God is just a title we use to identify that which is a creator, and in truth, we all are creators. I'm gonna wait till that coffee goes. In truth, we all are creators, bro. You see what I'm saying? In truth. In truth, we all are creators. And identifying that, resonating with that, becoming that, recognizing that you always have been, always will be, and always are that, that's part of your birthright. That's a part of your spiritual birthright that the world seeks to take away from you. The world seeks to deprive you of that understanding of yourself in that way by having you search for things outside of yourself to try to better understand the thing that exists within. But the thing that exists within truly won't be only found within the things that are around you. You have to go within to better understand that which you are experiencing without, because that which you are experiencing without is an illusion. It's an illusion. It's a reflection of that which exists within. But because it's a reflection, meaning it's a mirrored image, it's not the true image. It's not the truth. When I look in the mirror, I see myself in reverse. So I could never really see myself how the world sees me. The only way I can do that is to turn the camera on, and when the image reverts itself, then I can see what I may appear to be to other people. But even then, if I take a step, if I go deeper within myself, I can't even see. Only in thought can I see it. Only in my mind can I generate the experience where I can see it. But in this reality outwardly, it would take a lot of training and reprogramming and restructuring of my own mind to be able to see what I truly am manifested outwardly. You see what I'm saying? It take a lot of training and preparation and practice. You got to do the work to be able to see people's aura. You got to be able to do the work to be able to see people's energy. This is why sometimes babies smile at nothing, because they could see certain things that we can't. They could see those energy fields. They could see different frequencies and vibrations passing by on planes of existence that are beyond our scope of things. And as I said, bro, it's part of your spiritual birthright to reclaim that power, to empower yourself. The reason why I'm speaking on judgment right now is because, you know, lately I've been diving into different aspects of astrology to further understand one of the spiritual tools that is at our dismay, which is, you know, like on a surface level, we all understand the horoscopes and shit like that, but there's actually a deeper intended use to my understanding. It's not just to say, oh, because I was born as a Sagittarius, then that means, you know, I'm outspoken, I'm a freedom seeker, I may struggle with addictions, or I may struggle with commitment, or whatever the case is. It's not just about saying that that's what I am and then accepting that. It's about saying that's what my program was. That's my astrological programming. But like I said, what you are transcends all of this shit, transcends this complete reality, to where it's like, yeah, but I'm so much more than that. I'm not just that. That's how my ego manifests itself. You see what I'm saying? That's not how my soul manifests itself, because my soul would be the same if I was in a different lifetime. If I was in a previous lifetime or a future lifetime, my soul would still be the same. It would be this eternal thing that is all things and nothing at the same time, devoid of space and time. Because it exists beyond space and time. It exists before space and time, and it exists after space and time. So having it manifest within the limitations of space and time, which we experience here on the third density of light, or the third dimension, having this experience where I manifest in space and time, I have to understand that because of the space and time that I came into, there was a certain program that was given to me to help me better understand how it is that I, one, have the potential to operate, which on one hand is a tool because it lets you know how your life could flow with more ease by not going against what you are inherently in this realm, in this space and time. So in this space and time, I can't fight the fact that because I literally am a Sagittarius, there are certain things that will always be a part of this experience for me. But I'm not limited to that because I have more control and autonomy over myself to sit here and say, you know what? The zodiac ain't even my God. The zodiac ain't my creator. The zodiac gave me a program for my humanity, my human form, incarnated with this astrological energy. But my soul, which could have been born at any other point in time, any other location that could have generated any other potential outcome for a natal chart, my soul would be something way more primordial, way more omnipotent, way more omniscient, way more superior to the programming of my very limited understanding of humanity from an astrological standpoint. So on one hand, it's about using it as a tool to figure out how my life has the potential to flow, so that way I can either lean into certain things that I want out of this human experience that I'm having, or understanding some of the challenges that I may face, so that way I can abstain from some of that shit. You see what I'm saying? It ain't just about taking it for what it's worth on the surface level. It's about going deeper with it. So as I said, I'm speaking from a perspective of talking about judgment because one of the things that exists within astrology is something called planetary hours. For every 24 hours within a day, there's a whole system for it. I'll probably leave some links and some resources as to what I've been practicing, just so that way, because I don't believe in gatekeeping. I'm gonna give the information as I come across the information, and anything that I got, I just want to make sure that we all are able to fact check and come to our own understandings for ourselves. So with that being said, we are currently in the planetary hour of Saturn. Saturn is the planet of judgment. So judgment is nothing but a tool, bro. It's nothing but a tool. The same way acceptance and forgiveness is a tool. And we are meant to utilize either one of them at our own dismay. Some things are meant to be judged because we have discernment for a reason. The same way I can sit here and look at the world and look at the state of the world and say, based off of my own judgment, some of this shit fucked up out here. Some people are lost. Some people are hurting. Some people are having the time of their lives. Some people are experiencing the worst that humanity could even fathom mentally. That's my fair judgment of what's going on. And I'm allowed to do that internally too. I'm allowed to go within myself and say, you know what? Like I said, back to the astrology thing. Some of these things that come with my humanity, I judge it as being detrimental to the true nature of my soul. Because the humanity, the ego, that is your devil. That is your devil. You ever wonder why in the church community, the common thing they say is the devil is a lie? Because the devil is manifested thought that comes from an illusionary space, a fictitious form of belief, an idea rather than a fact. And it's not necessarily an evil thing, because to be honest with you, you could be whatever idea you want to fucking be. Is it wrong for a child to imagine that they are, the prettiest princess in the world, or the most established king, the wealthiest this, the most fierce and brave warrior to ever walk the earth. It's all just an idea that the child has, and the child is able to do that and pull from an organic space, because coming from the realm of chaos, all things, you have the potential to be that. I can be whatever the fuck I want to be, but also got to understand the limitations. I got to be in accordance with what I am. What I am is a man. So although I could be whatever the fuck I want to be, I can't be a woman. At least not in reality. I can't. Like, in truth, I can't be a woman. I can't give birth. I can't adopt the true genetics. I can't take the Y chromosome and change it into an X, no matter whatever type of scientific accommodations we're trying to arrive to in this here and now time. I can never change that X chromosome into a Y. So I have to act within I have to be able to groom myself to act within the realm of reality. But also understand that I got enough autonomy, enough power, enough spiritual and cosmic awareness over myself to say, bro, but I'm not just that. This right here is the idea. No different than the ideas I had when I was a child. When I was a child, growing up as a single child, I made some of the most complex games, some of the most innocent and bizarre, illusionary states of being with imaginary friends and imaginary ideas that all spawn from a space of genuine creativity, that true God energy to create whatever it is you choose to create. And it was all of my own doing, and with a little sprinkle of programming that was given to me by the world around as I observed humanity at large from my own childhood. You know what I'm saying? Certain things I've seen in movies made me want to be a little bit more like this, or certain things I've seen on TV or seen outside in my community made me want to be a little bit more like that. But it's all just an idea. And being born into this human form, this human incarnation that I am experiencing the idea of what it means to be a brother named Marcus, born in Orlando, Florida, November 28, 2000 at 6:39 a.m. Super specific, but understanding that the moment I took my first breath, I inhaled God's conscious thought at that time. Before then, I was connected to the realm of infinite consciousness, which is unconsciousness. So you have three parts to your own mind. You have your conscious mind, which is how you make conscious observations and utilize your discernment, your judgment of things in real time. That is your consciousness. And then on a deeper level, this is where you get into meditation and other things that may seem more trance-like, or even with dreams. You get into your subconscious mind. But beyond that, beyond your subconscious mind, everything that's coming from the subconscious mind is being pulled from the unconscious mind. And the reason why I know that we all existed from this space of the collective unconscious, because it is a collective, not necessarily like a hive mind, but it's like if the collective unconscious stems from the great womb of, let's just call it the universe for now. If it stems from the great womb of the universe, it's like taking a droplet of water and putting it right here in this jar. This body is the jar that droplet of water has now incarnated into. You see what I'm saying? Waiting for its return back to the infinite. Infinite consciousness stems from the unconsciousness, because it is the nothing that gives birth to everything, and it is the everything that in reality is nothing. And it's like a self-sustained riddle, at least as far as I'm concerned. It's like a self-sustained riddle. It's a thought process of sorts that maintains and sustains itself. But beyond that, we know that we all stem from this place of the collective unconsciousness and the infinite consciousness, because as babies, we have not taken our first breath. And the main thing and the first thing that will happen to you if you were to deprive yourself of oxygen is you will lose your consciousness. You will lose your ability to be conscious. You will lose your connection to consciousness by holding your breath. And if you hold your breath long enough, you will lose your connection to your subconsciousness, which will then equal, death or transformation, whichever one you choose to see it as. And being a baby in the womb, not yet taking his first breath, you are connected to the thing that is all. Your mom carried you in this portal. You know what I'm saying? She carried you in this portal before she gave you to this world. And in that portal, you sat there with the infinite unconscious. You sat there with the infinite unconscious of all things. When you took your first breath, you gained consciousness. You gained consciousness of what you have the potential to be. The individualistic thought, the individualistic talents, the individualistic uniqueness that you will always carry with you for the rest of this lifetime as you know it. But you still connected to that same thing you was connected to when you was in the womb, which is your infinite consciousness. And that supersedes all things. And you can always pull from that realm of existence. But the more that you journey through life, life will program your subconscious mind to go against some of the ways of your infinite conscious, because your subconscious mind functions off of symbols, repetition, and trauma. So the world is repeatedly traumatizing you and repeatedly suggesting things to you, and repeatedly showing you different symbols at large, depending on the frequency that you on. Some of these symbols have the potential to penetrate you a little bit more, a little bit harder than others. Pause. And when I mean penetrate, I mean to go within you in ways that you don't see. They go in you in ways that you don't see. So you see certain things out here in the world, and that shit leaves a stain on your consciousness of sorts. It leaves a stain on your consciousness. But like I said, you have the autonomy and the control over that, and you got to use judgment appropriately. Be decisive. Use it for the tool that it's meant to be. It's not a thing where it's like everybody talk about Judgment Day and this, that, and the third. But bro, like, examine what you are, judge what you are, and then come to a space of accepting what you are, and realize that you're not just that. You're greater than that. You're beyond that. And you are whatever the fuck you say you are. You're not just limited to what your idea of your purpose should be. You are limited to the idea of what you assign your power to. Because in truth, ain't no real destination here. This is just a simple journey. There's only one thing that we all know we are destined to have, destined to experience, and destined to be at the end of all of this. And that is dead. We are meant to transform. We are meant to transcend. And you can go in any direction with it. That's based off of your own conscious thought. Wherever you think you're going to go is wherever it is that you're meant to go. But it's all about knowledge of self. Think about what do you feel you're meant for? What do you feel you're meant for? And it's all about whatever power you want to assign to that. So that's my little spill for the night. Peace, God.